My name's Eric Boyer. I'm the senior producer on DDO, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of Menace of the Underdark, our journey from the Eberron campaign into the Forgotten Realms campaign. And the way we've done this is, well, let's step back a little bit. About 3 years ago, DDO launched their AAA title, MMO, as a free-to-play game. We made multiple ways to get into the game. It was a free player, a premium player who purchases things a la carte, like content in the store, or a VIP someone who plays regularly enough that it's just worth it to own all of the content at once while they're a subscriber. They also get things like the classes for free, such as the Druid. The Druid is our newest class that we've just added at the end of June, and it's the one we promised to players for the longest time. The Druid class is a pet class, and the Druid class is also a shapeshifter. Here we're looking at the Druid as a water elemental. So, just prior to our expansion for Menace of the Underdark, we gave players the chance to confront Lolth of Eberron. Lolth of Eberron is a little bit different. She's actually a demigod, and the Lolth of Forgotten Realms is a goddess, the goddess of the Drow and the Underdark, and much more powerful, actually a deity. Where Lolth in Forgotten Realms, her story is a little bit different, but she's sort of the parallel counterpart to Lolth in our dimension. When players confront her, it turns out that she
somebody died.
This is what happens when you accidentally lose your footing in the demon web. Sorry.
Yeah, it just fell. Lolth actually escapes from her binds in Eberron, and she joins forces with Lolth of the Forgotten Realms, who rips the fabric of the Underdark of Eberron out and opens up into the demon web. So we're actually looking at Lolth's domain in the demon web. And who we found here is Elminster. Elminster is not somebody that our adventurers would know, because he's actually from the Forgotten Realms and not a character in Eberron. So we see that he's very powerful and actually very long-winded as well, but it seems to be someone who has a lot of information about what's going on here. So we kind of team up with Elminster and start venturing across the demon web. Now he's going to guide us to travel across the demon web through this path, and then we'll go through the Underdark and up into the Forgotten Realms region of Cormyr in the King's Forest. And this is where something is causing siege on this little village called Evening Star. So Elminster is sort of sending us on this quest. It says, your world is in trouble, our world is in trouble, let's join forces. We can jump to level 2 now. So we're going to go ahead and skip over the content and jump right over to Evening Star. Now, once we get into to this region, this is the Grotto, and it's just outside of the Underdark area. We'll come out of here as a player, and we meet some of the villagers. They see that we've come in and fought the Drow, and trust us as newcomers, but as heroes who have come from another land. Now, immediately when we come out into the Evening Star Village, we get this this sense that the environment and everything is just really different. We've put a ton into making this region feel like a different game when you come out. It's got all sorts of technical things, giving us the advantage of creating this epic fantasy world, old world. We don't have that mage punk type of environment that you find in Eberron. It just feels like you've traveled to another universe, and that's exactly what we're wanting you to feel when you come out through here. So most of our quests will take place in this area of Evening Star. We have actually 3 wilderness areas. There's adventuring through the King's Forest, which we'll go to now, and there's an Underdark region, which is just as vast. That takes place underneath the King's Forest, and we base the Underdark Drow city out of a place called Shinlarin. There isn't a whole lot of story or images already in lore about Shinlarin, so we tell you quite a bit as you play. You find explorer points that give you lots of lore about Shinlarin, about the Drow that live there, the 3 houses of Drow, the politics, the corruption and deceit that takes place there, and it gives you a real sense of how menacing and vicious the Drow really are. They've been coming up from underground and bringing with them something called the Darkening, which is a summoning spell that allows them to travel above ground without the daylight. The Drow be found in small encounters. When we're soloing through here, we'll find these random encounters of typically small bands. There's different types of mechanics that players will find when they're encountering the Drow. There's the necromancers, which we're seeing here in this example, and the necromancers are controlling the undead. The undead that they have mind controlled aren't very intelligent, so we can choose to attack the undead and then go after the necromancer, or we can take out the necromancer and then the undead are less of a threat. There's another mechanic where we find the priestess to Lolth, which are Drow priestess, and these priestess will sacrifice another living soul in order to revive themselves. So they have almost the opposite type of strategy. If there are she's very powerful and a very strong caster. So if you do damage her, she'll actually take out one of her own Drow or a nearby villager or hostage or someone else to revive herself. So you're actually better off not having anyone near her, whereas when you're playing against the other Drow, the strategy may be to actually try to avoid the other ones and take on just the boss. So as players come through and find these different monsters, we have these epic giant monsters like a Babelith, which we saw just as we were coming into the Demon Web. Purple worms, which are dozens of feet tall, green dragons and red dragons. All of these really cool epic moments with giant Forgotten Realms monsters. In our Druid class can play several different shapes when shifting from bear form to wolf form, elemental forms. They'll have different spell powers, and some spells will be stronger or not even usable depending on what form you're using. As we adventure through the wilderness area, we can go through and find different quest hubs where we can start a quest and continue on with the story of what's happening with the Underdark and Lolth and the siege on this town. Also, there's just hours and hours of gameplay in the wilderness itself. And we can travel from here to the story continues into the Underdark next. One other thing that we're adding in the upcoming update on August 20th, we're going to release another content pack that'll have a quest adventure pack that has a slightly different story, continuing in the Forgotten Realms area, and it starts as low as level 17. It's also available in epic levels, and we can play in heroic levels at 17, which is around the time when you come into the Forgotten Realms region for the first time. And it also features a new thing called the Monster Manual, which we can look at here really briefly. The Monster Manual is based on the pen and paper Monster Manual. What you can do is you buy a volume which contains about 10 monsters per volume, and each volume will allow you to discover those particular critters of various types, and as you kill them, you learn more about them and uncover stats, secrets. It tracks how many you've killed per account, per character, gives you deeds and rewards based on those, uncovers information to help you understand what are they vulnerable to, what types of damage do they do, where are they from, where are you likely to find them, that type of thing that becomes useful, that you become a bit of an expert on these types of monsters that you find. You can also accomplish deeds and earn things like turbine points that you can spend in the turbine store, and you can earn experience. In a few cases you can actually earn a little pet mini version of those, which would be like a mini or a collectible cosmetic pet that will follow you around, and even then in other cases you can unlock things like being able to see what the hit points are on the particular monster, which is a stat that you don't normally have in the game. So Monster Manuals is coming out with volumes 1 and 2 on August 20th with update 15. So last part of our tour here, we'll tour through the Underdark. One of the things that we're seeing right now is that we have this sort of gray tone view around us in the Underdark, which kind of brightens the area. If we stop and take off our goggles, you can get a little different perspective of what it looks like without the magical goggles that we had acquired. So this is what your normal view of the Underdark looks like. We're actually going to the city of Schindler in here. And there's some drow along the way, but we'll get close enough to the area that we'll be able to have a look at it. The goggles actually have some cool advantages. When it's dark and you can't see your path very well, and there's not a light coming from the foreground, for example, the Drow City actually is a bit of a light source, and a lot of the Underdark doesn't have that civilization to generate any light. So those goggles will help you to traverse the plane, but you don't always want to have them on. Sometimes it's a strategy to be able to see monsters as well if you do have them on. In fact, if we put them on again, you can see that when we've
I'm used to having the health bar down here.
When we find a monster that they actually have a red outline on them.
They shot by them.
Dead end.
Oh yeah. I got time to figure that try again.
So it sort of desaturates the area. Things that have natural light still glow with the color. But we've come up to the end of a cavern here. Again, the Underdark is vast and dangerous. Oh, I think there's a Explorer scroll there. It has the priestess of the Underdark narrates the Explorer points in the Underdark, and in the King's Forest, it's Elminster who leaves all these bits of information. And when you're in the Demon Web, Lolth herself leaves taunting messages around for you to discover and uncover. So she just entices you to come and visit her as if she's wanting you to do this and really enjoys it, which honestly I think we believe that she does. She's quite a character. All of our voice acting is done with professional voice actors. We generally record out of Hollywood, even though we're doing remote. In fact, we have an interesting technical situation where our engineers are in Austin, our talent is in Hollywood, and we're recording from Boston. But they record locally and then send the files digitally over to us. So you can see the monsters when we have the goggles equipped. They have a red glow on them. This is something that the goggles help give us an advantage at tracking our enemies. So the drow around the city here, we can probably skip ahead and run forward to the city just to get a quick look before we make our escape. There we go. We got a Slayer XP earned for going through that region. That was actually pretty good. All right, here we are at the city. And this is a nice place. Once we cross this bridge, it's a good example here. You can see toggling the goggles on and off again. Just change that gameplay experience. The Underdark is a very unique place, and you have these this potential, of sort of what we call gamer fatigue. This allows you to advantageously change that perspective you have on the world. So there's 5 more quests in this series that continue the storyline, and then the next steps would be move on to the Demon Web.
Oh, oops.
All right. So that's pretty much wraps up our tour. If you have any questions for us, we can.
I don't know how to ask questions for video games yet. Where do you plan on going from here?
Yeah, so we're going to continue our storyline from Update 15, which comes out on August 20th. We're going to continue that storyline later this year. We'll add another adventure pack, a little bit larger than the one we're currently releasing this month. And then our next plans is to do another like a live event. We want to do something for the winter, like a festival type of thing in the Forgotten Realms, to give a little bit of a change of scenery there and add some unique items that aren't always available for our current players to come and enjoy. And then we'll continue doing updates through 2013, and we're working with WotC to define what the stories are and try to keep our storyline campaigns in parallel and in the coming years.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like it's in parallel with the Rise of the Underdark.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, coming up with the right name was part of the task. So that it's all it's a different region, but it's a similar storyline, and it's on the same timeline as theirs.
That's really all I've got. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much.